Dear soul, imagine a drawer that has never been opened by anyone but you. Inside it sits a folded piece of paper, soft at the edges from being touched so many times, holding words that were never meant to be seen by strangers. Now imagine someone opens that drawer without asking. They read what was private. They judge what they never understood. And suddenly something sacred, something written only for your heart, is sitting in the wrong hands. That is where our story begins today, and somewhere deep inside, you already know this message is landing on you for a reason. Before we go further, I want you to do one small thing. If you feel these words settling into your chest, if something in you is already saying, "Yes, this is for me," type the word "received" in the comments below. Just that one word. It lets the universe know your heart is open and ready to receive what is coming. Dear soul, today I came to share something that has been kept hidden for a long time, tucked away like a rare and delicate gem, kept safe from hands that would not know how to hold it gently. I am speaking of a letter, not just any letter, but one carrying your name woven into every line, even if that name was never spoken out loud. This letter was born out of silence, written by someone who feels something for you that goes beyond logic and beyond explanation. Someone who thinks of you in the quiet, unexpected moments of the day. Someone who has been quietly hoping for your happiness from a distance, wishing to be closer, even without ever saying so. That letter holds everything this person has wanted to tell you since the very beginning. It reads like a prayer written in plain human words, each line carrying something pure and true. Even though you may have had no idea this letter existed, it has always belonged to you. It was written with such care because the one who wrote it knew that not everyone would understand the depth of what was placed on that page. It was too tender, too sacred to be handled by someone who does not know what it means to truly feel. But sadly, this letter was found by people who were never meant to see it. Because of circumstances no one could control, the family of the person who loves you came across this private page. What was meant to be a gentle, intimate offering suddenly became something questioned, picked apart, and doubted. The response was not kind. They could not understand why someone would feel so deeply for you. They could not see what this soul sees when they think of you. So instead of trying to understand, they tried to shrink the feeling down, deny it, and build walls where a bridge was meant to be. Dear soul, pause for a moment. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. Before we begin, a heartfelt thank you to dear Sharon, Ryan, and Ginger Carmen for sowing a seed for Soulmate through your Ko-Fi super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you every step of your journey. Thank you for your beautiful support. Let's know what angels want us to know. I am here today to help you understand that something is shifting quietly behind the scenes of your life. There is a gentle force working to reconnect what fear and silence once pulled apart. In the coming days, you may start noticing small signs. Do not brush them off as coincidence. What is unfolding now was written long before this letter ever existed. Now that you know a truth has been kept safe for you, that someone loves you even without saying it, and that this person is willing to do whatever it takes to make sure this letter finds its way to you, let's slow down for a moment. Take a breath. From here, everything will start to make sense. There is a quiet kind of pain that only someone who has had their deepest feelings uncovered without permission can truly understand. It feels like leaving a piece of your heart somewhere safe, only to have someone who does not know it's worth walk right into that space. That is exactly what happened to the person who has been loving you quietly for so long. They held this feeling with so much care and honesty that the idea of anyone discovering it barely felt possible. But the letter, written with such gentleness, did not appear out of nowhere. It was not a passing whim. It came from sleepless nights, from thoughts that would not quiet down, from memories that refused to fade even when life seemed to be moving on. It was the most honest way this person could make sense of what they felt for you, without needing anyone's approval, without needing to explain themselves to anyone. It was a small piece of affection tucked away like a treasure, hidden from the eyes of the world. But without anyone being able to stop it, this letter was found. The family searched through places they should have left untouched, and when they discovered the hidden envelope, curiosity overcame respect. They opened it, read it, judged it, and tried to treat it like a mistake that needed fixing. But it is not easy to erase something written straight from the soul. You cannot brush away a real feeling like dust off a table, and you certainly cannot undo the path of a letter that was written out of love. What hurt this person most was realizing that even the people closest to them could not understand what those words truly meant. This letter was not just a stack of sweet phrases. It was a quiet, honest record of everything the soul carries for you. Deep respect, a longing that never went away, and hope for a future that still beats somewhere inside their heart. But those looking from the outside could not see it. They looked through a lens of fear and control, as if stepping into something that had not yet been given to you, something that lives between two worlds, one of true feeling and one of outside judgment. And that caused real pain, real doubt, and a quiet kind of resistance rising inside. There is something deeply meaningful about being the reason behind a love that has been kept hidden for so long. You may never have imagined that someone out there has been writing to you in silence, quietly putting into words what they never had the courage to say out loud. But now you know, and it is important to understand that this letter is more than paper. It is a symbol of everything that survived, even after being exposed. This letter was not a handful of words thrown together in a hurry. It was a quiet echo of everything this person has felt for you, longer than you might ever guess. Every sentence told a small story. Every pause carried a heartbeat. Every paragraph seemed to whisper your name without saying it. It was less like a simple message and more like a confession straight from the soul, as if holding on to these feelings quietly was the only way to protect them until the right moment arrived. The truth is, you have always been the quiet reason behind so much of this silence. You were always there, even without realizing it. This person noticed things about you that you may never have noticed about yourself. The way your face looks when you're lost in thought. The words you choose when something truly matters to you. Even your absence on the harder days did not go unnoticed. All of it was felt, all of it was seen, and all of it lives somewhere between the lines of that letter. What stands out most is the way this person sees you, not as someone simply passing through their life, but as a kind of shelter, a light in the middle of darkness. The letter speaks of the ease you bring, even in silence, of the comfort your presence carries, even when everything else feels heavy. You are described as someone who asked for nothing but left behind something that never quite fades. The letter speaks of small moments only the two of you shared, even if they were never spoken about out loud. Simple, ordinary situations that stayed locked in this person's memory like little sacred scenes frozen in time. The way you smiled on one particular day. A small, unexpected gesture that touched someone who admires you more than you know. Words you said without realizing the weight they carried. All of it was kept with such care, like memories too precious to ever let go of. But what touches the heart the most is the hope woven through every line. This letter carries a quiet kind of faith, the belief that one day you would learn the truth, that you would receive it at exactly the right time, that you would finally understand how important you are to someone who has never been able to forget you. This person did not write out of impulse. They wrote to hold onto something that no longer fit inside a quiet heart. Because there are some things that time, distance, and silence simply cannot erase. There is not a single line in that letter that does not carry your energy somewhere inside it. It was never written as a cry for attention or an attempt to win something back. It is simply the honest translation of a feeling that refuses to shape itself to fit the world. A feeling that finds a way to survive even when everything around it seems to say it cannot. Not everyone close to us is able to clearly see what comes from the heart, and sadly, some feelings are so real that they end up misunderstood by people who try to make sense of them through pure logic alone. The family found the letter, read words never meant for them, and came face to face with a truth they were not ready to accept. The deep, quiet, and intense love this person carries for you. To those on the outside, it is often hard to understand what does not fit the patterns they are used to. What was subtle and full of emotion was mistaken for something exaggerated or unrealistic. But what they do not understand, dear one, is that true love rarely makes sense to people who have never felt it for themselves. It simply happens. And when it does not follow rules, does not fit into neat boxes, and it certainly does not wait for permission to exist. The family's response was resistance. They tried to erase it, hide it, deny it, as though rejecting what was written could somehow protect the person who loves you from making a mistake. As if this love were a problem instead of the bridge it was always meant to be. The purest kinds of love often face the hardest barriers, and one of the most painful is not being recognized by the very people who were supposed to support it. But this love has endured. Even without support, even surrounded by doubt, even under disapproving eyes, this person still carries you in their heart with unwavering faith. The letter was never written to convince anyone. It was written to protect a piece of the soul that has always belonged to you. The family may try to redirect the story, but what is written in that letter is already moving quietly through the universe. That intention cannot be silenced by people who refuse to see what cannot be seen with the eyes alone. When a love is real, it finds its way through the cracks of time, climbs over walls of pride, and pushes through interference that once seemed impossible to overcome. They tried to convince this person that what they feel is reckless, a fantasy, a mistake of the heart. But instead of breaking under that criticism, the feeling only became clearer. What exists between you is not an illusion. It is a certainty, the kind many people try to hide because they are afraid of losing control. What the family refused to see is how essential you have become, how your presence, even from far away, feels like comfort on the hardest days, how your memory has become a place where this person reconnects with who they truly are, how you, without even knowing it, carry a quiet power that has transformed the heart of someone who has loved you in silence for so long. This love does not need anyone's approval. It only needs to be lived. And no matter how many people try to stop it, hide it, or downplay it, there is one thing interference can never undo. The feeling already exists. It has already been written. It has already been carried up into the heavens. And now it is simply waiting for the right moment to reach you. Few things hurt more than feeling that something real might slip away before it even had the chance to fully exist. It is like watching life threaten to pull a flower up before it has had time to bloom. And that is exactly the fear sitting in this person's heart right now. After the private invasion of something so personal came a wave of fear, the fear that everything nurtured so carefully in secret might never get the chance to become real. This fear is not about judgment or confrontation. What hurts the most is the thought of losing you without ever getting the chance to truly live life alongside you. This person has quietly dreamed of moments together, imagined conversations, and built silent plans you never even knew existed, all prepared with the care of someone terrified of making a wrong move, afraid one misstep might push you further away. Now, with the family's interference and their attempt to silence something so pure, that anguish only grows heavier. It feels like grieving a future that never even had the chance to begin. A quiet kind of heartbreak carried alongside the helpless feeling that fate is being pushed off course. Dear soul, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to do something truly meaningful for your soulmate journey. The bond between soulmates is precious, and at times, it can feel vulnerable to negativity, envy, or the evil eye from the world around us, even when no harm is intended. If your heart is calling you to cover this connection with an extra layer of love, faith, and protection, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, surround it with divine light, and guide it as it continues to grow in the right time and in the right way. Throughout the Bible, we see that giving is more than an offering. It's a beautiful expression of faith, gratitude, and trust in God's plan. As 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7 reminds us, God loves a cheerful giver. And Luke 6 verse 38 teaches that generosity has a way of overflowing back into our lives according to God's wisdom and timing. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey be filled with peace, hope, and divine guidance. Let's continue with the angel message. When a heart loves this deeply but struggles to say it out loud, it starts to live somewhere between hope and fear. Hope that things will be made right. Fear that time might steal away what was never even given the chance to start. That tension is exactly what this person feels now, torn between two realities. One where the feeling is still alive and pulsing with intensity, and one where the outside world threatens to erase what was never even allowed to begin. But even wounded by everything that happened, this person did not give up. Fear did not win. If anything, it confirmed just how strong the feeling really is, and it continues to be protected quietly, with every bit of strength the heart can hold. This person does not want to lose you, does not want you to walk away without ever knowing what truly lives in their heart, does not want this story to end without the two of you ever having the chance to write it together. There are feelings so deep that words alone cannot hold them. They live in silence, tucked away where no one else can reach. That is exactly what this letter became. It was never just a hidden object. It was a living piece of everything this person feels for you, folded carefully, surrounded by an energy that only someone who loves deeply could create. In many ways, it was a piece of the heart itself. This person did not leave the letter just anywhere. A safe, quiet place was chosen, somewhere no one else would think to look. Every time their eyes rested on it, there was a soft tenderness, like gently touching a sacred memory. It was kept with reverence and care, not out of shame, but because there was too much truth inside for just anyone to hold. With each passing day, the letter became more than words. It became comfort, companionship, and hope, as if writing it had released feelings that had been quietly building for far too long, and keeping it safe had sealed a promise that one day it would reach you. The care given to this letter mirrors the care we give to something we know we can never replace. There was no copy, no second version. It was one of a kind, a reflection of everything hidden away, waiting only for the right time to be delivered freely, without judgment, without interruption. This person read that letter quietly, over and over, touching the paper as if touching their own story. The emotion inside those pages runs so deep that explaining it could never fully do it justice. That is why they never wanted anyone near it, afraid someone might not respect the depth of what it holds, afraid the truth inside might be handled carelessly, as it eventually was. When the letter was discovered, something inside this person cracked. It was not simply about a secret being revealed. It felt like watching something sacred be disturbed by eyes that were not ready to understand. There comes a point when silence stops feeling like a safe place to hide, when what has been buried deep inside the heart begins asking to be released, when there is no longer a way to hold the truth back. That is exactly what happened after the letter was found, touched by hands that did not understand its meaning. Something shifted. Pain turned into action. Fear made room for clarity, and a decision was made to reclaim what has always belonged to the heart. This decision did not come easily. For a long time, this person believed hiding the truth was the safest way to protect it. But life has a way of showing us that even silence can be interrupted. And when something sacred is pulled out of its shelter too soon, the soul wakes up. This person now understands there is no more room to wait. The letter must come into the light. It must reach you. There is no longer space to carry this quietly. What happened with the letter was a sign, a clear message that waiting is no longer an option, that some things simply cannot be postponed. Every step being taken now has one clear purpose: to place into your hands what has always belonged to you. A letter born from the most honest emotion a person can feel. The family may have tried to shift the direction of this story, but they could not erase the feeling underneath it. If anything, their interference woke up a new kind of strength, an urgency that had been quietly sleeping. This person now understands it is time to protect this love differently, not by hiding it, but by revealing it. Not by delaying, but by standing firm. Not just by writing, but by choosing to truly live it. This is no longer a quiet hope tucked away somewhere safe. It has become a plan, one that calls for courage, action, and direction. This person is ready to face whatever it takes to make sure the letter reaches your hands, because it is not just paper. It is a lifetime of emotion carried in silence, a love that has survived everything, and it no longer wants to stay hidden. This letter holds more than confession. It holds promise. It speaks of desires that were delayed but never forgotten. It reveals everything this person never had the courage to say out loud, but now understands can no longer stay hidden. This decision was made with a full heart, with no room left for doubt or regret. It is a truth born from the soul, and it is getting closer to reaching you. Sometimes it is on a simple sheet of paper that the most life-changing truths are written. That is exactly what is happening here. On the outside, it may look fragile, just a plain envelope, a few handwritten lines, maybe a name or a date. But inside sits something powerful enough to shift your entire world. What that letter holds could change everything you believed you understood, because it contains the truth your heart has always sensed but never had confirmed. What this letter carries is more than a release. It is a story, a private secret, a courageous step toward everything this person has quietly held for you for so long. Inside, you will find truths you may have never heard from anyone, honest admissions that came straight from the heart, feelings that were not easy to face, even for the one who wrote them. As you read, you may notice that many things you sensed all along were true, that there was more behind certain glances than you ever imagined, that the distance was never a lack of love but a way of protecting it. And now all of it is finally ready to be revealed. The letter speaks of moments trapped in memory, of nights when the longing felt almost like a silent scream, of thoughts filled with your presence even when you were far away, of small gestures remembered with tenderness, of tiny details that stirred feelings so strong they could only come from someone who loves you honestly. But the most powerful part is not only what the letter says about the past. It is what it reveals about what could still come. There are promises inside those lines, not empty ones, but real hopes of building something together. This person wants to be near you not only out of love, but because they recognize something meaningful in you. Even without fully having you close, they have already found a kind of home in your presence, a place where they can breathe freely, dream openly, and feel whole. This letter has the power to change things because it brings into the light what was once hidden by fear, weighed down by insecurity, and delayed by outside interference. Being read now, it holds the power to heal, to open a door that has stayed closed too long, and to show you that you were never alone in the feelings you carried quietly. This is more than a love letter. It is a release, a relief for the one who wrote it, and an invitation for the one who receives it, as if every single line was written with the purpose of beginning again. When this letter reaches your hands, you will feel it. You will sense the energy of someone who wrote through tears, with a heart aching from feeling so much and never being able to say it out loud. You will notice there is no more room for doubt, only space for truth. Prepare yourself, because this letter will not simply tell a story. It will reach your soul in a way nothing else quite has. It will bring you back to old feelings, help you reconsider certain moments, and maybe even change the way you understand parts of your own story. Most importantly, it will bring you answers. It will show you that all the love you quietly sent out into the world has slowly been making its way back to you, even when you did not realize it. There are connections that seem to defy time, ignore distance, and survive even the quietest attempts to break them apart. What exists between you and the one who loves you is exactly that kind of bond, one that cannot be fully explained through logic or coincidence. It began almost invisibly but grew stronger in silence, in absence, in small gestures that meant more than any spoken word ever could. Even when your paths seemed to move in different directions, even when your days carried on separately, that bond never broke. It stayed there quietly, steady, and true. Not even distance could shrink the emotional closeness you share, because this connection has never depended on being physically near each other. It relies on something deeper, a spiritual closeness. You lived in this person's thoughts during the most unexpected moments, just as they lived somewhere inside your own dreams. The letter stands as living proof this connection was never truly broken. Everything written inside it survived interference, resistance, and misunderstanding, and even under pressure from the outside, it only grew stronger. It was shaped by time and held together by a feeling that even reason could not talk away. The interference from the family became a kind of test for this connection. When the letter was discovered and questioned, it could have ended everything right there. Could have caused retreat. But it did not, because real love does not vanish under judgment. It does not bend under pressure, and it does not give up when things get hard. There was pain. There was fear. But there was also the quiet strength of someone who knows what they feel for you is bigger than any obstacle placed in front of it. It is remarkable how, even from a distance, this feeling only continued to grow. This person remembered the smallest details about you, the sound of your voice, the light in your eyes, the way you spoke when nervous or happy. They learned to feel your presence even without being able to touch it. And somewhere deep down, you felt it too, even if you tried not to notice. Something always pulled you back toward this connection, something that never quite had a clear explanation. This connection is the reason the letter exists at all. It is the invisible thread that kept you tied together even during the times everything seemed lost. This person needed to put into words what could no longer stay silent. And even though the letter was not delivered sooner, the intention behind it was always protected, kept alive by the quiet belief that you still feel something too, even if it has never been said aloud. There is something between you that simply cannot be broken. You need to understand how deeply this bond has changed the person who loves you. They began seeing themselves differently because of you, discovering feelings they never knew they were capable of. And even when life tried to pull you apart, even when logic said to let go, the heart kept quietly choosing you, day after day. And now, all of that quiet devotion is returning with even more strength, because after everything that has happened, it is clear that nothing written between the lines of this connection can be denied. There is a gentle, powerful energy surrounding you and the person who loves you right now. It is subtle, almost impossible to notice with your eyes, yet incredibly strong in the space of emotion and destiny. Something is approaching, and it is not chance or coincidence. It is the fulfillment of a feeling kept hidden for far too long, one that finally refuses to stay quiet. In the days ahead, something will come your way that will be impossible to overlook. What this person is preparing to do takes real courage, not only because it may go against what others expect, but because it means opening the heart with an intensity rarely shown. They have spent a long time protecting this truth, but now they understand it can no longer wait. What is written in that letter must be delivered, not as a symbolic gesture, but as a real, definitive step toward everything felt with a whole heart. There is quiet preparation happening behind the scenes of time. Every detail is being arranged carefully, not just to deliver the letter, but to do it in a way that touches your heart with the same intensity it was written with. It feels almost as though the universe is clearing a path for this reunion. And even if you have not noticed it yet, you are already being gently guided toward this moment. Small signs will begin appearing. Little coincidences that are not really coincidences at all. Certain names, memories, and feelings may return with unusual strength. Dreams may carry messages. Feelings may rise up without any clear explanation. All of this is part of the calling, an invitation for you to awaken, stay open, and be present, because when this letter arrives, you will need an open heart to feel what has always belonged to you. Do not take the coming days lightly. Something meaningful is about to be revealed, and the moment this letter is delivered will carry more than words. It will carry a feeling, a kind of healing, a sense of release. This letter has the power to awaken memories that have been resting quietly, to open doors that once seemed permanently closed, and to rebuild a bridge between two hearts that never truly stopped searching for one another. When this letter finally arrives in your hands, it will not simply be a beautiful moment. It will feel like a turning point, an awakening, a clear line between what stayed in the past and what is now finally allowed to grow. What is coming has the power to shift how you feel, to change how you understand your own story, and to help you see clearly what once felt uncertain. Dear soul, before we continue with this message, I want you to pause for a moment. This letter speaks about a plan for your soulmate journey, a future that may be unfolding in ways you cannot see yet. Sometimes God prepares the path long before He reveals the destination. And while you are waiting, He may be preparing your heart, your soulmate, and the circumstances that will bring everything together at the right time. If your heart feels guided to do so, you can sow a seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and pinned comment. Let this seed be your personal expression of faith, a quiet way of saying, I trust God's plan, even before I can see it. May your soulmate be protected. May both hearts be prepared for a love filled with peace. And may whatever is meant for you arrive at the right time and in the right way. Thank you for your kindness and your faith. May God bless you and your soulmate abundantly. Allow yourself to feel whatever comes up. Do not close yourself off and do not expect everything to look the way it used to. It will not, because what is approaching is real, and that alone reshapes everything, even before it fully arrives. This person is coming forward with honesty, hoping to heal, to reveal, and to build something new from what was once kept hidden. This letter is only the beginning, the missing piece that will finally let you both see each other clearly, without the barriers that once stood in the way. In the days ahead, life may place in your hands something you have always deserved, a truth written with feeling, kept safe with care, protected with faith, and now it is ready to be delivered with the certainty that you need to know everything, because this story never truly ended. It was simply waiting for the right moment to begin again, with awareness and with your whole heart. There are moments when everything seems to align so that something important can finally happen. After so much silence, waiting, detours, and interference, a cycle is coming full circle. What was once hidden is now stepping toward the light. What was once protected out of fear is becoming courage. And everything your heart has felt but never had confirmed is about to be revealed. This person is no longer wondering whether to act. The decision has already been made. The letter, written with such care and hidden for so long, will finally reach your hands. And it will not be a small gesture. It will feel like a reunion with truth, with everything this soul has carried for you but never managed to say before now. What is about to be revealed has the power to bring clarity to old doubts and open the door to a new chapter in your story. You need to be ready for what is coming, not physically, but emotionally, from within. Your heart needs to be awake enough to do more than simply read these words. It needs to feel every one of them, to recognize that this letter was not written to impress you, but to finally release what has been carried in silence for far too long. What is about to happen will not simply stir your emotions. It has the power to genuinely change your life. This letter will bring answers you never expected. It will show you just how present you were in this person's life, even during the times you thought you had been forgotten. Every line was a quiet attempt to stay close to you. Every paragraph is a gesture of love that pushed past fear, pride, and distance. This is not just a letter. It is a window into everything that stayed hidden behind every restrained gesture. It holds feelings that remained untouched despite the time apart. It represents a bond that was never broken, even with so many barriers standing in the way. This person stayed strong, endured quietly, loved in secret, and now wants you to know that it was all real, and it still is. You may feel a mix of surprise, comfort, emotion, and even a little confusion when this truth reaches you. That is completely natural. When truth arrives with this much intensity, it does not knock politely. It walks in, and slowly it begins to settle the chaos inside you. It soothes wounds that seemed healed but were still tender underneath. It brings light to places that have felt dark for far too long. This is the answer your soul has been quietly waiting for, even without words. And now, everything is aligning to bring it to you, not as a distant promise, but as something real. This person is ready, and wants you to know that everything being revealed carries the weight of patient waiting, the strength of deep emotion, and the beauty of finally letting go and trusting. Get ready, because the moment to fulfill something long hoped for has arrived, and nothing will feel quite the same again. Now that you know the whole story, take a moment. Close your eyes if you can, and simply listen with your heart. The letter meant for you is on its way, and along with it comes everything that once felt lost. You were never forgotten, never overlooked, never left behind. In truth, you have been held inside this person's heart the entire time, like a sacred secret that survived everything. It is no accident that all of this is coming into the light now. There is a kind of timing that certain truths simply need, and yours has arrived. The silence was necessary. The care was essential. Even the pain served its purpose, because even behind the scenes of sorrow, quiet faith remained steady. This person never gave up on you, and now it is your turn not to give up on what is coming either. Life has been quietly preparing this moment for a long time, through delayed meetings, glances that said more than words ever could, and intuitions that felt confusing at the time but were actually gentle signs. Now you understand that none of it was wasted. This letter represents a reunion with something that already existed between you long before a single word was spoken. It represents the courage it takes to turn a hidden feeling into a living, breathing story. Stay aware in the days ahead. Life may surprise you with a gesture, a message, an unexpected moment carrying this same truth. Do not doubt what you feel. Your heart will recognize the sense of something real. You will know this is not simply your imagination. Feels like something meant to be. When that letter finally touches your hands, let it also reach everything that has been quietly buried inside you for so long. You might cry. You might go completely still. You might not have the words. That is natural. When love reveals itself this honestly, it can shake us, but it also rebuilds us. More than anything, it reminds us who we really are. You are someone capable of inspiring real love, of stirring honest feelings in others, of being missed even in your absence. This person saw all of that in you, even during moments when you doubted your own light. Nothing can undo what has now come to the surface. The interference, the distance, and the time only proved how strong this bond truly is. What this person feels is real, and now that truth is finally being honored. The letter that is on its way is only the first step. After it arrives, there will be choices to make, conversations to have, and decisions that only you can make, with a calm and awakened heart. So take a moment to really listen to what your own spirit is telling you right now. Trust. Trust what you feel. Trust what is coming. Trust in the quiet wisdom of timing you cannot control. Everything that is real eventually finds its way into the light, and now it is your turn to receive it. Stay open to the signs around you and to whatever comes next. Keep your heart soft and receptive, because something beautiful is on its way to you. The letter is close now, closer than it has ever been, and all you need to do is stay ready to receive the gift that has been kept safe with so much care, just for you. If any part of this message touched something inside you, if you feel that this was somehow written just for your heart, leave the word yes or a small heart emoji in the comments below. Let this be your way of saying you are open, you are listening, and you are ready to receive whatever is coming your way. Wishing you peace, clarity, and a heart wide open to everything that is meant to find you. Dear beautiful soul, this angel's message for you channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $11, $22, $33, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.